You want some coffee, man?
Oh, I'd love some.
I don't have any.
Oh, me neither.
I'm thinking rosehip and spruce needle tea. While the tea is boiling away, I noticed that my knife is looking a little bit worse for wear because I haven't dealt with it or stropped it or anything since last trip. So I'm just going to show you a few little tips on how to maintain your knife. One of the questions I get asked quite a lot is, why do you wear braces and a belt? Well, braces are to keep my trousers up and my belt is just for my tools. So I don't put my belt through the belt loops of my pants, so I can take it off super easily. I also have polishing compound on the inside of my belt, so I can strop my knife easily, take this off and strop it with basically no hassle at all. Nice thing about belt is you can wrap them around stuff to strop with pretty easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to wrap around the rope. You can also use you know, a horizontal stick coming off. A lot of people like to do it with the belt on a flat surface. I've actually found for my knife, which is a modified Scandi grind, it works best doing it like you'd use a face shaving razor, where I just pull the belt tight and then run the knife down it like this. So I'm by no means an expert at stropping knives, and I've seen so many conflicting opinions on how to do it correctly, so this may be not the correct way to do it, it's just the way that I do it. But one thing that's consistent with all of the teachings on it is that as you are doing it, you want to gradually reduce the pressure that you're putting on it until you're almost just letting it run on the strop without putting any pressure at all. What the polishing compound is doing is taking off very slight amount of metal off of the blade with each pass, and you want to take off less and less so that the angle of the blade is not getting burred backwards and forwards, and is gradually the burr is getting less and less. The burr is how much metal is folded over to one side of the blade, and you want to gradually reduce that to get the smallest amount of burr possible for the sharpest knife. Ideally it would be popping hair sharp. This isn't quite shaving yourself like it with a razor, but you can see it is taking the hairs off. There's not enough polishing compound on it to give it a really good seeing to, but I've definitely tidied it up, and you can see the main edge of the blade is definitely a lot cleaner. There's no rust on the actual edge. So when I get home, I'll put a bit more compound on my belt and tidy this up a bit more. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's like a little tip on how to strop your knife, how to maintain a sharp edge on your knife all the time. I've never used a sharpening stone on this knife. I just strop it as often as I can think to remember to take care of it. So I hope that was useful for you guys. So let's get back to the tea.
Is it done yet?
It's done. It's done. So nice thing about these Stanley cook pots is they have little holes in the top, steam vent holes, but it also means when you make tea like this, you can take a separate cup and then you can strain your tea through the holes quite nicely, so you don't get all those seeds from the rose hips and bits of spruce needle and all of that stuff in your tea. So it actually works like a frickin' charm. I mean, look at that. Amazing. So there's a few little bits of debris in there, but for the most part, it's pretty clear. It's kind of a novelty out here to drink something like this, but I could easily see myself get used to just drinking that every day. It's a good source of vitamin C as well. The rose hips and the spruce needles. I think spruce needles have vitamin A. I might be wrong, but it's pretty good for the vitamins actually. A little bit of tea. Definitely better than nothing. Good.
It's nice and warm too. It's actually kind of cold out today.
Yeah. Temperatures dropped, huh?
Oh yeah, it's nice on the hands. Almost as good as a hot cup of cocoa. Alright guys, so that's it for today.
So just before we sign off, I just wanted to give a mention as we've had a few people message us on YouTube and Facebook. We now have a Patreon page, so if you would like to, you can now support Bushcraft Heroes with monthly donations. So check us out on Patreon. I'll put a link in the description in case that's something you'd like to do. And as always, please leave a like or a comment.
And don't forget to subscribe.
And we'll see you next time for another episode of Bushcraft Heroes.